community, welcome back to another Dragon Ball Super video with Chris. And today, I know it's been a while since I've actually been on camera, but we are going to be doing the first video of the new series that I'm going to be doing. This is kind of like the state of colors, but instead, I'm going to be going in depth with each, or as much in depth as I can in a video, going over each of the new leaders and kind of how the archetypes are supposed to break down, and also doing kind of a sample deck video at the end to give you guys some ideas of how the leader could possibly work. Now, for some of these colors, especially colors that are not black and yellow, I may be missing some of the combos that could be, kind of played in these decks. But think of these more as shell deck lists. So basically you take the shell of this deck and you can add it into whatever it is that you want, whatever it is that you think is good, or even better than my idea, because these are obviously not like these may not be the top tier competitive list whenever the decks actually come out. So if you guys like these videos, make sure you guys like and subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Hopefully you guys like the fun informational videos as well as just the battle stuff. So we'll get right here into the video, which is going to be about Rage Broly, which is kind of the name that I'm giving him. It's not what his name is probably going to be. But Broly is a red leader who has a very, I think a very good chance of being a meta deck. So we'll go over what the leader does. So permanent, Broly, you cannot include non-battle cards that are not Broly tags in your deck. So the normal Broly tag here, not the Broly BR or Broly Xeno, nothing like that. It has to be a Broly card. When this card attacks, actually technically when you choose one extra card, one red extra card in your hand and discard it. When this card attacks, you draw 2 cards. And you awaken at 3 life. You have the Sin Shinran Awaken or the Reboot Gohan Awaken, which is at 3 life. You draw 2 and restand 1. It is actually a very powerful effect. In this deck, dropping extra cards to the drop area is not a big deal at all. So being able to pitch a card and then drawing 2 new cards and then being able to awaken to then draw 2 more cards and untap an energy is very powerful. Now on this side, when this card attacks, you draw a card, and then if you have 7 or more red extra cards in your drop area, you can activate battle skills on a red non-field extra card with energy cost 3 or less in your drop area without paying its energy cost. If you do, send that card to the warp. Now, the idea of this is that you can only get this drop area effect when you attack. Now, it doesn't have a limit to the amount of activate battles you can activate in one attempt. But that is pretty powerful though, right? So the fact, thankfully you cannot do this on your defensive step. It has to be when this card attacks. And then you have another activate battle where you choose 1 red extra card in your hand and discard it, and then this card gets 5k for the battle. So it's a little reminiscent of the Dark Broly deck, right? Very similar. Now, some key things we have to know about this leader is this leader has been compared a lot to the Invoker list. Because of its abundance of extra cards that it can play. This leader also is very unison based, as we will go over with the leader in the deck profile, in the actual deck list at the end here. But this is very apparent to playing the deck correctly, because you do need a unison in play, because there's not a lot of battle cards you're going to be playing. This goes into the limited pool that Broly has, because you can only play you can only play Broly stated cards, which means no Broly BR, none of that. But also this takes away from a lot of the good red cards that you can play. New Ruler, can't play New Ruler. You can't play Yamcha Counterplay. You can't play Fighting Against Fate. You can't play Fu. You can't play a lot of the stuff that normal red decks would be able to play. You don't have access to any of it. And but the good thing is though, you do have a very strong Awaken. And this does kind of set the deck up for some very powerful plays, going into later parts of the game. Now, switch over here real quick, and I'm gonna go over. I have two different deck lists here that we can kind of go over a little bit, and both are a little different, but I do think they're both pretty decent in their own right. So we have the leader here. We already kind of talked about the leader, and this is a 52 card deck, so that's pretty normal. So we'll start off with the extra cards here, which we do have quite a bit of these extra cards. So we have the Demonic Playtime. This is one of your extra cards. Any of the demonic cards here, you have this gigantic meteor. Where's the other ones? Demonic Blitz. These are all, and the one that one's already a 1-drop. So any of these 3-drop extra cards here that are demonic or the gigantic guy, these are all technically 1 cost. Now what's funny is that this one only needs a mono red Saiyan, which is pretty nuts, which means this card's gonna be really, really good, just as a 1-drop side deck card. But in this deck, it is obviously you can get this full strength out of it. So demonic playtime is your Champa. Essentially, you draw a card, and then you give a red card 10k for the battle, and then if that card is a Broly card, it gains double strike, so you can just give your leader double strike, so your leader becomes a 10k double strike, right? So you can activate this battle, which then go to the drop area, and then this has a limit 1, which means you cannot activate it again, which means you can't use your leader's activate battle from the drop to add a second one on there. That'd be a little broken, right? But we run 3 of these, 3 of the gigantic meteor. This is your this is a 25k boost if your leader card is a Broly. Now you can give your unison or your leader 15k, but it has its skills negated for the battle, so you cannot tack this on for 25 and then tack this on for another 10 and double strike, so it would just lose the double strike, right? But this card is still very, very insane. Also, you can KO up to 35k worth of battle cards if it's your turn, which is super powerful as well, obviously. So you pair these two. We have Demonic Blitz, which is our 1-drop negate. Also negs a battle card by 10. This is kind of your replacement to the Yamcha counterplay. Since we don't have that ability to use Yamcha counterplay, we can neg a battle card. We can negate and then neg a battle card by 10. And then you can also activate battle, choose up to one of your cards. It gets 10k for the battle. So you can negate with this, and then in the drop area you can activate the activate battle on your turn. We have kind of one of the flow cards at the beginning of the game, which is the Demon Cometh. This is a red extra card. You choose one red extra card in your hand and discard it when you activate this, and you draw 2. Pretty powerful. And then if your leader is a Broly, you choose one card in your hand, discard it, and you send this card from the drop to the warp, and you play out a 1-drop Broly from your deck. Now, essentially, you can run this. I'm just showing you guys options. This is the one Broly that comes out of the deck. And this card draws you a card, but it's only if you play it from your hand, right? And then we have the other really good Broly, which is Crown, but this is also an effect where you'll only play it from your hand. So you actually don't get this effect if you are playing it from the deck. So this card kind of becomes a little odd, obviously, but you can play this guy out. It's really there for the drawing effect, being able to put extra cards in the drop area to then draw more cards. It's really the big thing with this card here. So some of the spice obviously you can see is we are running some blue red here. So we do want to charge one combination attack, and you can probably charge this on turn 1. I don't know how good it's going to be to charge multicolor and going into the next format, but we'll see. But you charge this guy, and then you have the ability to actually pitch him off of your leader ability and activate his effect from the drop area, because this is a red extra card, which means you can choose one of your opponent's battle cards, 5 or less, return to his hand, then restand an energy. Which is pretty powerful, considering you can be tapped out and then activate this, warp a battle card. You don't even have to warp it, and then you can just restand a blue energy, and then you can use your senzu beans here. So you can completely tap out for something and then bean up and go in for more damage. And then we have Niagara Drop, which is pretty cool. So Niagara Drop is a 2-drop extra card. You give your leader 5k for the turn. If you're less than 3 life and it's your opponent's turn, you restand a red energy and then draw 1. Now, obviously, as I said before, this effect is only on the awakened side and on your attacking turn. So you cannot, use this defensively, unfortunately. But you can tap 2 for it. And it's not that bad to tap, because you're not really tapping a lot of extra and a lot of energy for stuff anyways during the combo phase. So tapping 2 to go up to 10 and then drawing a card, or going up to 20 and then drawing a card, and then being able to use that energy to possibly use this, or to because it says just restand a red, so you can restand your multicolor, and you can bean off of that as well. You have your super combos here. Not really gonna talk about those. That's just because it's Broly. We have to run that one. Broly Crown. This card should probably be as a 4 of. I just wanted to show you guys the the slot differences with both of these Brolys. But this card here should definitely be a 4 of in the deck. Just being able to play this to be able to rip cards out of your opponent's hand is super powerful. The Unison is Dark Broly. So if you have 3 or more red extra cards in the drop, this card gains double strike. So he's going to be a 15k double strike for basically the entire game. +1 is you search top 5, add 1 red extra card to your deck, and then basically it has to be a red extra card with activate battle and 3 or less. So can't be Violent Rays, can't be Testing Opposition, can't be Niagara Drop, can't be this guy. Has to be any of your activate main. I'm sorry, activate battle cards. Yeah, not activate battle. So it has to be these 3 or this card here, right? So at least you can search this out. So this is a searchable negate, so that's why it's good. And in the bottom effect, auto when your opponent attacks the battle card, choose one of your opponent's battle cards and gets -3k for each red extra card in your drop area. It's pretty powerful. You can get a lot of these in your drop area and neg something pretty well, right? Now, we haven't really showed any battle cards that we can attack with, right? So we really only have 2 that we can attack with, which is why the deck is kind of built very funny. This is built like really like an Invoker deck. So this guy here, play out for 1 whenever you activate a red extra card from your hand or your drop, and it's a limit 1 to 1 red. Play them out when this card attacks. You choose one of your opponent's battle cards and neg it by 10 for the turn, or you choose one of your opponent's unisons and neg it by 15. Now this is a 16k, so it gets over Black Mass Saiyan, gets over Yamcha. It is a pretty decent card for what it's worth. Being able to swing at something and then neg it, whether it's a unison or a battle card, is very powerful, especially with unisons that are under 15k. Because when you neg a battle card underneath, when you neg a unison underneath its power level, it actually kills the card to takes a marker off, and then if you're swinging at this, you can it's kind of like he has double strike, for unisons. But then we have our 3 drop, right? So it's 6 drop, but it becomes a 3 drop if you have 5 more red extra cards in the drop. This is a 35k double strike deflect. Now this card has an auto. Choose 1 card in your hand, discard it when you activate the activate battle skill on a red extra card and it comes 3 or less in your drop area or in your hand. You put this card to active mode, and then if the card you discarded with the skill is a copy of this card, you draw 2 and you neg one of your opponent's battle cards or unisons, ignoring barrier by 35k, which is very powerful considering you can do this during the attack stage. So if your opponent is attacking, you can activate an activate battle from your hand, right? And then this card will automatically restand, and then you can pitch a copy of this, right? So you pitch a copy of this, and then you draw 2, and then you get to neg something by 35k, ignoring barrier, which is a lot of things in the game. Especially with unisons, being able to neg a unison, just having its power reduced takes away any skills that it has, so it just reverts it back to what it was before the skill. So this card can instantly just shut down your opponent's turn. Being a 35k deflect is very good, and the fact that it's not unique and the fact that it is a 6 drop is very it's a 5k combo. It doesn't have unique, it's got some defense, it's a very powerful attacking card. It's really good. It's a lot of energy though. You're paying 3 for it. You really have to be able to defend yourself on your next turn. And obviously with hard negates, we have Violent Rays, Testing the Ops, and then we have our King's Vegeta Imposing Presence, since we are playing a mono red Saiyan. Now the boss monster in the deck, the big guy is going to be the SS4 Broly. I think this is probably the best one. Obviously you have Gohanks here, but this card is brutal, man. So you can evolve on top of this guy. And then when you play this, you give your leader 10k for the turn until the start of your next turn, and then all your opponent's leader battle cards and combo cards get -5k power and combo power. So you can kind of whittle down a lot of your opponent's resources, and it just makes it very difficult for your opponent to be able to do a lot, right? Your opponent can't play small stuff. Your opponent can't play 5k unisons because I'm pretty sure, well, actually, no, yeah, and the unisons are fine, but the leader and everything, it just really becomes really difficult to kill. And this being a 40k barrier, I mean, this card, unless you're playing against, yellow, this card's not really going anywhere, right? So your combo really is, once you play this guy on 3, basically you play this guy on 3, you swing, you then activate battle, or like awaken, activate battle, activate one of these guys, restand him, pitch a card, draw 2 if you can, which is really good. But you also don't have to do this bottom effect. You can just restand him. So then he's a 35k double strike dual attack, and then you can evolve right into this guy. Bop, go into the 40 double strike, swing at your leader, or swing at your opponent, and then also give your leader 10k for the turn. So it becomes very powerful, right? You can go really strong very quickly. It can gives you some weird aggro. Turn 3 you can technically kill by swinging a lot. It probably won't happen, but you can swing a lot at your opponent. So this is a very interesting build for the deck. Now, I did have a second build, which is this guy. Now, this guy is a little bit different. I added some red-green. This one's probably not nearly as good, but I just wanted to mess around and just show you guys some different options of stuff. Just messing with some things. So, obviously, the new card here is going to be the Dormant Legend. This is from, set 7. But this card allows you to be able to play out any of your big Brolys, which when we're going to be playing Strategy Foretold. So the idea is that you have these 2 green Brolys here, and you basically want to charge one of these on the turn that you want to awaken. And we're trying this little cheeky play here with SS Broly Legend Unleashed. So this card says if your opponent has 3 or more energy and you choose a dormant battle, dormant legend in your battle area and place it in the dropper, you can play this card from your hand. So which means that on turn 2, we technically could play this card here, right? This card says that when a card in your life is added to your hand or placed in the drop area during your opponent's turn, place the top card of your deck under this card. And when you have 3 cards underneath this, you can play a 4-drop Broly out. Technically, you can play out this guy here, which is fine. There's also the counter reversal guy you can play, which is pretty cool. But the idea of this card is that if we play this on 2, and then or we play this card on 3, which is fine. So you play this guy on 3 for 2 energy, and then if your opponent has more than 3 energy, basically. So if you go second, so if you go second, you should be fine. Then you activate this guy. You activate this guy from your hand. So you basically pop this field spell, which then does nothing, right? Then you play this guy from your hand, and then when this card is played, for the duration of the turn, if your leader card is a red Broly, you can activate its Awaken skill, even if you have 5 or more life. So it basically means that we can actually awaken early, whenever we want to, as long as we have more than 5 life. So if you have 4 life, you can't, but then if you have 3, obviously you will be able to, because you can just awaken off your leader effect. But the idea is that if we are able to stay healthy enough, we can then just play this guy on 3, and then awaken. And then let's say we awaken at 6 life. So now we just woken at 6 life, and we had a really powerful awaken turn, and now we're in business, right? We added these guys because this guy allows you to search out both the 3-drop and the 6-drop because they're both green Brolys. But the idea with this guy is really, if you can't play him out because you don't have dormant, you can always charge a green and then play him on 3 because he has only 1 green energy. Play him for 3, and then you can then do the effect. Obviously, you want to do the dormant effect a little bit better, just because you're playing this for 2, and then you're playing him for free, playing a 19k for free, and then you allow your leader to awaken, which is obviously pretty powerful. The rest of the deck is pretty similar. Obviously, you see some cards here like Wolfang Fist. I didn't add everything into the deck, just because obviously we're just trying out some different stuff. Demonic Barrier, which is the same thing as the Demonic Playtime, but instead this is a 5k crit. And you can give the card, you can basically give this, you can give this crit, which is pretty cool. You give it crit for the turn. So you give this guy a crit, it becomes a 40k double strike crit. And then if you activate battle, since you played this card here, you then restand this guy. So it becomes a 40k double strike crit dual attack, which is pretty difficult for a lot of decks to deal with, right? Plus this guy probably being double strike as well. You're in good shape. We can probably maybe take this stuff out and add more of the dormants, but I think this is a pretty interesting combination here, just being able to play this stuff out. Now, Broly guy, big boy, he's a little hard to get out. because we can't run Nappa, super combos. And there's only so many Broly's we can run. So the idea is you want to be able to keep one of these in your hand to combo. And you combo obviously with one of your red guys. But he is a 1 green, 1 red. Play him. You can only play him if you have a dormant legend in your drop area. That's why we play him out or just pitch him. Cards played, choose 2 of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, minus by 15k until the end of your opponent's opponent's turn. Which means if you play this on your turn, you have your opponent minuses 2 cards by 15 until the end of their turn. Then when your opponent attacks, you may choose 1 card in their combo and place in the dropper. If you do, negate the skill for the duration of the turn. Basically means you have a Broly version of the Bardock Unison. Whenever your opponent decides to combo, you can just pop the card from their combo. Makes it really, really powerful. Obviously against blue decks, when they use Galactic Buster, hit them with that. Arrival decks that are using multicolor super combos, you just pop the card. Puts them in a very, very sneaky situation. And then obviously we got this guy being able to evolve. Now you can use Demonic Barrier or you can use Demonic Barrier because Demonic Barrier gives 5k for the turn. So you can give this guy 5k for the turn, making him 35k, and then you can evolve on top of him. Psych, no you can't, it's gotta be monocolor, so you just get this guy. I don't know why I thought that. So you can just evolve on top of this guy. So one of the main win conditions is still kind of the same. So but this is just kind of an idea. Like I said, you can run the Gohank's Secret Rare as well. I think it's pretty good as well. But I do think the deck has some very interesting tools to it. Just being able to play out all of these little guys. Playing out this guy. Playing these out. Like, I think it's just kind of a cool way of being able to, awaken and do some different things. But that's what I got for you guys today. Hopefully you guys got something out of that. If you guys find some good archetypes or some good deck lists you guys want to show me for this leader or any of the decks that I'm going to be doing in this series, obviously send me the link. We can talk about it and discuss it down below, or we can discuss it on Discord, whatever you guys is choosing. But thank you guys for watching. Again, make sure you guys like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.